I guess I've already told you about my condition.
Funny every time I see you.
You don't remember where you've been or what you've just done.
I can't make new memories. Everything just fades.
What's the last thing you do remember?
My wife,
That's sweet.
dying.
You really want to get this guy, don't you?
My wife deserves vengeance.
When you find this guy, what are you gonna do?
Kill him.
Somebody's got to pay, Lenny. Somebody always pays. You have to be very careful. You wander around playing detective. Maybe you should start investigating yourself.
This guy is so dangerous. He's gonna kill me.
Who is he?
What do you want from me? I want my life back!
I think someone's trying to get me to kill the wrong guy.
You can question everything. You can never know anything for sure.
There are things you know for sure.
You can't trust her.
Even if you get revenge, you're not gonna remember it. You're not even gonna know that it happened.
Who did this to you?
You did. You don't know who you are.
All right, we ready? Are we ready?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. All right, go Gogs.
Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is week 2 of October Noir, and we are joined by special guest Nate Ragolia. Am I saying it correctly?
Ravioli.
You did perfect, and it didn't even take
A fellow
90 minutes
paisan.
of sorting out the clues to
You
figure
could have
it
just
out.
said Nate.
Well, you know, might as well give him the whole name. I don't want to test myself on a last name that ended in a vowel.
It could be Nate
last
Burleson.
name R.
Yeah, Nate R.
No, that's too obvious. We'll go with N. Regolia.
Oh, wait,
Writing out of
Can you
Old
go-
St. James Island, Nate Hard R.
Oh, you beat me
Regolia.
with the hard R. I was trying to get it out so quick.
Sorry.
It's okay.
we have a hive mind when it comes to hard R jokes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thanks
this
for
week
having me
we
on
watched-
the show.
Yeah, welcome,
Absolutely.
Nate. We watched Memento.
Yes, we watched
Memento.
Christopher Nolan's Memento, huh?
Memento, yeah.
Yes,
You fucking
Wooder.
memento disease.
Yeah, his second film, not his
Was
first
that your
film.
Joey Pants? That's not bad.
No,
Yeah,
that's
too much tuna.
yeah.
It's
Whatever
actually
those,
works out to be an okay Joey Pants.
whatever those
Amber's neighbors. No,
Is it?
that's just fucking Peter Griffin or maybe Lois.
is it John? What's that guy's name?
John Mulaney.
Oh yeah,
Mulaney.
and everybody hates him
Nick
because he
Kroll.
like had a kid or something with a woman he cheated on his wife with or some nonsense. So he got canceled a couple of months ago. And
Got
Nick
canceled
Kroll.
for, well, you know. these
Who
things happen.
cares? I mean, who can even keep track of how people get canceled anymore?
Jesus got canceled, and we see how
Oh,
that
shit.
worked out.
Yeah, he
By the Romans.
Yeah.
oh fuck originators
Good
of,
Double P, Pontius Pilate.
originators of cancel culture, the
Pontius
Romans.
Pilate, the Elizabeth Warren of the biblical age.
And what's his name
Yeah.
was redeemed. Barbosa. What was that guy?
Barabbas.
Barabbas. Yeah, the guy they
Barbosa.
Barbosa, yeah. Captain Barbosa.
Either you're
was-
referring to
was
Captain
released.
Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean or Leandro Barbosa,
Yeah.
the
I just
forward for the Phoenix Suns.
I just couldn't think of Barabbas. I always,
Yeah.
it's great. Anyway, what the fuck? Let's talk about movies and stuff.
Jeffrey
Yeah,
Rush was.
movies
I
are-
mean, those are
movies
movies.
No,
are
I
just-
wanted to talk about Carabas, the Italian restaurant. that
Carabas!
Oh, that place sucks.
Oh my god. Oh,
Fun story
Carabas
about-
was.
Fun story
place.
about my white trash mother. She's visiting from the Eastern Shore, right? And they live out in like chicken country. There's like nothing out there. So she visits me, and I live 10 minutes outside of Baltimore for all those of you that don't know. And I'm like, we can go to any restaurant you want. If you want, just tell me the kind of food, and I'll take you to, there's a lot of great restaurants in the city. My mom's like, I want to go to Carrabba's. I'm like, bitch, we are not going to a fucking chain restaurant. Like, I took her to a
But she
little...
wanted good Italian food.
Yeah, I
right?
took her to Amici's. That place is brilliant. Anyway.
Should have taken her to Pizzeria Uno.
Yeah,
I hope the
real
entire time-
upscale.
I hope the entire time she's at Amici, she's kept Mitch just muttering like, "This is not Carrabba's."
No,
Like,
she loved it. She loved it. It was just hilarious.
Amici's. Is it Amici's? One of those places has those big fried mozzarella chunks. It's like a half moon of mozzarella just deep fried. Oh,
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember. It's one of the big
It's
ones.
either Chiparelli's or Amici's, one of them.
Amici's got that pane rotondo, which is just a whole loaf of bread smothered in shrimp.
It's so good.
All right. Was it owned by Don Amici? Is that the connection or no?
I think
I wish. That'd be amazing.
I thought it was the connection.
I think it's just a regular ass Italian.
No, you're thinking of that pizza place that was owned by Chaz Palminteri for a little
Chaz.
bit.
It was there for like a fucking year, and they only played what's it called, a Bronx Tale. It was fucking hilarious. Every time I drove past it, it's a Bronx Tale. It's like, yeah, we know who you are, dude. Anyway, goddamn. What did you all watch?
What have you watched
week?
for the last 6 years?
There you go. Yeah.
Oh man,
Nate, what have you watched over your entire life? What have you watched? Actually, I guess for those of you that aren't familiar, Nate, introduce yourself to the 4 people that aren't you that listen to this show.
Oh yeah, so I'm Nate. I co-founded Spaceboy Books with Sean. So we publish science fiction books, even though reading is dumb. We all agree on that.
It is dumb.
Yeah, we hate books.
Stupid.
We're a hard anti-book podcast.
And God help us if your movie came from a book. You already got one strike against you.
But other than that, I have a podcast of my own called A Vague Idea that everybody's been on. We did a crossover about Jaws, which was a lot of fun.
That was we did a smash 'em up.
Yeah, we've all been on it individually, except for Gogs, who sucks.
That's true.
Yup.
Wow.
Dogs, we'll get you on there.
If they ever do an expert of like, I don't know, chainsaws.
Middle class rage.
Yeah.
No, do an episode about sous vide cooking.
Yeah.
He is good at that.
You have like a white privilege,
cooking in general.
Like,
God's pretty good at
the benefits of it.
We could do like a kitchen episode and talk about cooking stuff. That would be interesting.
Yeah, but not just cooking. It has to be like unnecessary kitchen appliances.
No, it's got to be like
Is sous vide the fish tank thing?
Yeah. Sous vide where you're adding heat slowly.
It's really good, actually.
Yeah.
He made me a steak with that thing. It was delicious.
But I don't need a pity invite. I'm just gonna start my own trivia podcast.
It's not a pity invite.
There's the God's rage tweet that was.
I'll just fake all the guests myself. This week's DJ Andy Hart.
Man, this God's trivia podcast always has Christopher Walken on there.
Gogs is doing like the Clumps, the podcast, but with Gogs, he plays every character.
But I get all
but you can hear him running from chair to chair for some reason.
Oh, he actually has 5 directional mics.
And 5 webcams. And I got to do like quick costume changes.
Yeah. You got to throw those wigs on and everything real quick.
That's fucking.
What do you think about it, Marge Simpson?
Oh my God, we got to do that.
My podcast is just it's fucking.
That's
Marge
a hilarious
Simpson,
idea.
Meatwad, Christopher Walken, and I guess maybe Gary Busey. Well, I don't know what's going on, guys. It's really rude.
But it's like a hardcore leftist podcast too. But it's all fictional characters, like impressive.
Really take down this capitalist society.
Today we're talking about Peter Kropotkin.
We're talking about trying to rise up the proletariat against the bourgeoisie.
I'm kind of into this show now. Let's stop what we're doing.
We gotta get Comrade Chad on that show.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, well, good to have you, Nate. What did you watch? We'll give you recently. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be in the last week.
I'll do over the last week. I'm a listener to the show. I know what the rules are.
Thank God someone does.
I've watched 3 things over the last week.
Holy
things. Speak of consequentially. I watched Glenn Ross, which I had never watched all the way through.
And then you knocked your wife out.
You need those fucking good leads, man.
For some reason, Gogs say that Gogs accused me of not liking that movie last week. For some
I
reason,
accused someone randomly of not enjoying.
We were talking about how you love boring movies, and then he brought that movie up, and it's like he loves that movie.
I absolutely fucking adore that movie.
But yeah, it's a great movie. Really good, amazing performances. Like Jack Lemmon was great, and and it's on Canopy, so you can watch it if you have a library card.
Didn't Alec Baldwin?
Wait, aren't there books at libraries?
Yeah, but there are also movies.
Oh,
and there's also people with nothing else to do just fucking. So it's like a
hell,
Tell me
place to
more
go.
about this library.
Didn't Alec Baldwin get an Oscar for
He
his
did.
one scene in that
He did.
movie?
He's in that movie for 6 minutes, and he got an Oscar.
And they wrote
That's
that
amazing.
part for him to be in the movie. That doesn't
Oh, no
exist in
shit.
the play.
Oh, I didn't know
Alec
that.
Baldwin played Pacino's part on stage,
Oh.
and they both wanted to be in the movie. So like, we got to write something for Alec Baldwin. So
Interesting.
Mamet wrote that monologue to get Alec Baldwin in the movie, and it's
Set
a
of steak
standout
knives.
performance.
So
If we're done with our talk about the theater, and more important news about that movie, it's following the character of Gil.
It
yeah,
did.
from The Simpsons, yeah. That's
my hot plate. I only had 2 payments left.
Well, I was going to say that you started talking about plays. If you think we hate books, you really don't know how we feel about plays.
It's just like if books came to life. Like, it's the fucking worst.
The other thing I watched was we watched Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is now kind of a Halloween season viewing. It's only the 3rd time I've seen it, but every time I watch it, I get more out of it because
Do you watch it with people that yell the shit at the screen, or do you just like watch it like a regular ass movie?
Jenny and I went to the Esquire Theater here in Denver for midnight showing, which was that people screaming shit, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it. I had no idea what was going on because it's just like total chaos. But yeah, last night we just watched it on like Amazon Prime because it's Fritos from Bezos.
I've never. That's like a cultural like weirdo thing that like a lot of people that I know love, and I just don't understand it. Like I don't get it. I don't really enjoy the movie. I've seen it like as a movie. For some reason, it used to be on Fox like all the time, like regular ass Fox. They used to always show it, and I've seen it at the Senator one time at like a midnight screening because it was like. People be like, "Oh, you don't like it because you haven't seen it in the right environment." And I watched it that way, and it was also terrible because it was just like, "Oh, it's the same movie except it's loud and I can't hear it now." So.
I think it was like the half a generation before us that loved that movie because, like, I remember they showed it in Glen Burnie every Friday at midnight at Marley Station Mall forever. But it was like when I was like 12 or 13. I think like if we had older brothers, depending on what kind of brothers we had, would have enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I've never really, it's never clicked with me. I don't know.
Is it Tim Curry's most famous movie? Or most famous role?
That
probably, yeah.
I mean, I think I like him better in Clue, but I think it's probably his most famous role.
I bet you it's Legend.
Yeah. Except I for the longest time, I thought that the guy in Legend wasn't Tim Curry. It was that guy that's in the bad guy in Cobra. Because he kind of just naturally looks like the devil character. I had no idea it was Tim Curry under there.
I was this many years old when I learned that was Tim Curry under there.
You didn't know?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know.
Surprised it's never come up on the show. Because I thought you guys know what I'm talking about. That bad guy. He was like a bad guy in a million things.
Yeah, I just watched Cobra the other day.
Yeah, that guy's got that face that looks like
he's got like a big monster face.
Yeah, he's got a monster face. He's not a Zadar, but he's got a fucking.
He's very similar to. He's
face.
like a more handsome Zadar.
Well, I mean,
that's a
everyone's
fucking
like
description.
Yeah, I can grab a rock out of my yard that's a more handsome Zadar.
People say I look like a handsome Robert Zadar.
Speaking of Zadar and Maniac Cop, so it's October now, and I I'm in a lot of different movie groups, and people are like they bring up different classic horror movies, and they're like, "Oh, Maniac Cop's great." And I'm like, no, it's not. Maniac Cop is boring as shit. Like it's so funny how many things, like, I think people just remember that they like things, or enough people say that, oh, this is great. And then it's like, yeah, when's the last time you watched it? You know what I mean?
The title is awesome.
The premise is cool. Like, I love the idea. A cop that indiscriminately kills people, it's so unrealistic.
All right. I mean, I think it's the Kroll paradox, basically. It's what we...
Anyway, what else, Nate?
I think there's that seasonal thing that happens too, where like if you always watch a movie around Halloween or whatever, like you like it. In the same way, like Jingle Bells is a really shitty song, but every year at Christmas we all sing it. Like it's interesting. It's not. It's a dumb.
I mean,
song.
I sing it year round.
Yeah.
I call Sean directly, tell him not to pick up the phone so I can leave voicemails.
As I'm crying while masturbating, I'm humming
happened.
Jingle Bells.
One time I called Sean and I did a whole Undertaker monologue. It was pretty great.
It's the one time you've called me since I've known you, and it was just to tell me not to answer the phone when you called me subsequently 2 minutes later.
Last thing I watched, I've been watching Silicon Valley because I never watched it. So it's kind of like my late night burner.
I've heard it's very good.
It's a fun show. It's super formulaic though. Like every episode ends on a new thing goes wrong, and then they're just fixing the subsequent one. So it gets a little tedious. It's kind of hard to binge because you sort of don't notice that you're watching it after a while.
How and
I thought
are funny.
I used to think that I loved that show.
Yeah,
but I think I only loved the first season because the last episode of the first season, when they're doing all the math and the diagrams about how to jerk off a room full of like 400 people.
Yeah, how would we do that?
That is one of the greatest scenes I've ever.
You got to be this many inches away from each other.
Their penises have to be touching, and they have to be angled at the right angle, so you can be getting two at once with every up and down stroke.
I mean, that sounds hilarious.
Right on release, you got to let go and grab a new one because we're wasting. Yeah,
it is one of the funniest scenes I ever saw in any TV show.
It's
like every.
Judge, right?
I don't know how far you are into it, Nate, but I felt like every season is the same thing.
Oh no,
like
it totally
you said,
is.
it's
like I'm in season 5 now, and I couldn't really tell you what. Like all I know is I can follow the plot thread, which is this app keeps changing, but like nobody's really moving forward as characters yet, other than T.J. Miller's off the show now because of all his shit. And like the only thing I can say is to Sean's post from months ago about like name a soundtrack that's better than the thing it's from. Like the soundtrack for Silicon Valley is fucking killer. Like every credits of that show,
yeah,
really
that is true.
Cool song on it. Where I would love to have just the comprehensive, all 6 seasons and just have that credit song available on a playlist because
I'm sure Spotify's got you covered some way. Or
yeah, there's got to be somebody who's done it.
What was the like serious sister show to that people were watching for a while? It was like Crash Burn Override or some shit. It had some really.
Oh, the Nick Offerman show?
Halt and Catch Fire.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Halt and Catch Fire. That was
I never watched
or
it.
Mr. Robot. It was one of those.
Oh, God, Mr. Robot. I brought you on this plane to tell you that I am gay.
Because we're in international waters.
It's the worst fucking show. I don't know what people see in that thing.
Also the gold standard.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all
Mr.
I watched.
Robot, I was triggered. I was live tweeting Sean when I watched the first episode of that show.
No, you made me watch like 2 episodes, and I remember just texting literally, "This is about the fucking gold standard. I'm out."
Nate, pass the mic, please.
Sorry. Oh yeah, I'll pass the mic to Gogs because Gogs was gracious about not ever being on my show yet.
Oh. I like
which I'll constantly remind you of.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna just keep twisting the knife. So I watched, keeping with format, I watched 2 things.
Two things.
One was a repeat viewing because I'm in a rut and I like things that make me feel comfortable. I rewatched Escape from New York because why not? And it fucking slaps.
Great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie gets better as it gets older.
It literally gets better every time you watch it. Like every time I watch Escape from New York, I'm like, hell yeah, Escape from New York.
That is a movie that feels like it's 15 minutes long. That movie moves. Like that movie is just like it's on and it's over, and you're like, oh, that was great.
It's lickety split. Fucking Kurt Russell is just like, I don't know what he's doing, but I love it. It's got an entire gigantic cast around it that's just being like insane. I fucking love that movie. And then I watched a movie that is probably the most opposite of Escape from New York I could have watched.
Escape from LA.
Yeah, I watched Escape from LA. So,
God, we did a show on that.
Oh, is that the awesome one with the basketball?
It's the better one. It's like we took everything from Cuervo Jones and made it better.
Oh God, it's so fucking bad.
Yeah,
God, it's
We
bad.
still got to make Escape from Cleveland though.
It's the Crystal Pepsi to the normal Pepsi.
Carpenter keeps saying he wants to make another one. It's like, no,
that's what that Ghost of Mars was supposed to be.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it was Escape from Mars.
We also did an episode on that.
I missed that one.
That movie happened.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
I watched The Green Knight, which was like really like beautiful and awesome, and I sent a whole bunch of text messages to TJ afterwards.
Yeah, you took an interesting take from it that I didn't read into it, but I think it's an interesting reading of the text.
Yeah, so have we all seen it at this point? Alec, have you seen it yet?
No, but I don't care if you talk about it.
I have not, but go ahead. At this point, I probably won't watch it for a while.
I mean, the story is like 4,000 years old, so you really
I don't
can't.
read
Spoilers.
English. I don't read British shit, man.
Yeah, honestly, you've never heard the Legend of the Green Knight?
It's a book that's old. So is the Bible. I don't read the Bible.
It's not like a book. Like you've never, like, honestly, you never heard that story before. Like,
I'll be fair,
I think it's well established that the only English literature any of us knows anything about is the fucking Canterbury Tales, and it's only because Gogzalk have seen fucking that Heath Ledger movie 13 times.
And that movie fucking slaps.
Also,
that movie's
Sean,
about some British literature I can get behind.
Also, Sean, Gogs read that Hyperion book, and that is structured like the Canterbury Tales.
I want to say that I listened to it because I don't read books because books are for idiots.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
So
and I actually just finished it. I really
Gogs actually sent me that book as a housewarming gift, and I opened it. Like, what the fuck is this thing?
It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I look forward to it. I look forward to the other one.
If you had a fireplace, I thought you could use something to start fires.
Okay, Gogs, talk about Green Knight.
So Green Knight,
we got to focus.
We got to wrap this
We're
up.
having a lot of fun here tonight, Al.
So it's a beautiful, so it's the same guy who made a Ghost Story, and you
David
can tell
Lowery.
The guy just loves he has a vision for how he wants his movies to look, and he just sticks with it, and it's fucking gorgeous and striking.
I forget if I asked TJ this when he talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have an obtuse scene in the middle where the character looks at the
does Bonnie
camera?
Prince Billy show up to ruin the movie?
No, there is a sort of I didn't think it was as heavy-handed as it was in A Ghost Story, but there's sort of a heavy-handed, and this is where I took. So the story is about accountability and growing up and honor and just growing into responsibility. Right. But there's this interesting when I watched, I kind of took it as there was this also sort of an accountability not only for yourself and growing up and fucking taking responsibility, but taking responsibility for the world around us and the environment around us, because I read this sort of environmental message into it, and there is sort of a scene towards the middle where one of the characters kind of goes off on a little bit of I think it's a pretty nice monologue, but it's not like the fucking party scene in A Ghost Story. But there's
it's really a testament to Ghost Story how good that movie is that scene didn't ruin it.
Scene sucks. That scene is so bad.
Since there is a similar-ish scene, like you're saying, do you think the guy just is putting that in there because he's afraid people won't understand the movie?
No, because I think he's, I don't know, maybe he's just trying to drive it home for the dum-dums, but you get the idea. Well, they actually, in this scene, in the Ghost Story one, he's kind of saying, here's the message of the movie. In this one, he's not really saying what the message of the movie is. He's sort of going off on this sort of tangent that I read into it.
In the Ghost Story one, the actress in that little chapter of the movie is the same actress from Winter Soldier and Captain America, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. The girl that was the head of the Resistance or whatever. She's Scottish or something. She's great, but she's
Kesha's in that scene too.
Kesha.
And I'm sorry, and A Ghost Story, not of.
That's right. Yeah,
Knight.
In the Ghost.
Yeah, Kesha's in the Green Knight. She's.
I thought she was Captain America
in the Green Knight.
She wakes up and she brushes her teeth with a bottle of Jack.
Beat me to it. Yeah.
But no, it's Green Knight's there's a scene at the end too that's just so Deadpatel is just fucking great, and everyone's great in this movie. Joel Everyman is great in it, the guy from the guy from fucking Prometheus who plays King Arthur.
Yeah, also from Possum. That guy's great. That guy's really good in everything except
which
Prometheus.
Guy from Prometheus?
The guy that redheaded scientist that makes all the bad choices and turns into a zombie.
He's also in the last two Mission Impossible movies.
His name's Sean something.
He's in, like I said, he's the lead actor in Possum, which is a fantastic
the Silent Hill movie.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
I gotta see that.
It's so good. It's on the Plus.
Very similar to Ghost Story, towards the end of this movie, there is a scene where you basically you in Ghost Story how they kind of time traveled, but they kind of stayed with the property sort of through the ages. Mm-hmm. There's a scene towards the end of this where you kind of move, time advances very quickly, and you kind of get a montage, but of life and changes, and it's just fucking awesome. I don't think there's one word of dialogue over that entire scene, and you know exactly what's going on. You get all the weight of it. It's fucking this movie is beautifully shot. It is just it's something else. I don't know if it would be everyone's cup of tea, but I really, really, really enjoyed it. And it's provocative. It makes you think, and it's sort of challenging. I loved it. So exact opposite of Escape from New York. I didn't have to think about a thing with Escape from New York. I know what the plot is because it's the title of the movie. You need to escape from New York. Very base.
Isn't that a Patton Oswalt joke? He's like, that's why I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like, you know exactly what you're getting. Like,
right from step one. But yeah, both those movies are bangers for very different reasons. Alec.
I watched
50 things.
I watched two things.
Two things.
The first thing I watched was Free Guy.
Oh, interesting. And, I want to know what you think of this movie.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Like, it was not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I didn't think it was nearly as bad as you guys made it out to be.
I mean, I think
it wasn't
like
offensive. It wasn't like terrible.
Gogs hated it as much as TJ, right?
Yeah,
but
I hated it. Gogs didn't hate it.
I'm tofu. If I had watched it next to Alec, I would have loved it. I watched it with TJ, so I didn't.
Yeah, that's probably true. When you're paired up with a movie Smarty, you think smartly about movies.
That's a good podcast concept for you right there. Is just tofu, and whoever your guest is, you're like, what do you want to talk about? That's what the show's about this week.
Yeah. Movie tofu.
That's a good idea.
I'm so tired of the fact that I've gone back to it used to be when I was younger, but TJ hates everything, and now I've gone right back to that. Like, it's like, what happened? I don't hate everything.
Flat circle.
I didn't care for
this isn't about you. This is about Gogs. Everybody's influence on Gogs. If he watched it with me, he would have loved it because we would have been cackling like idiots the whole time.
It's recency bias just with people.
People-cency bias. But yeah, I thought it was fun. I like the little Disney, Marvel, Star Wars gags they threw in there towards the end.
Oh, you mean the one scene where they did it all in the span of like 35 seconds?
Yeah.
He likes the part where they Ready Player One did.
It needed more of that, to be quite honest.
I agree with you there. The fact that they put it all in one fucking scene was like, it was too much. It was too much.
They just didn't have that much money.
It's like, here's the fucking Mega Buster, here's the Captain America shield, here's a lightsaber, here's fucking a gravity gun. Like, literally all at once. It's like, spread it out.
The other movie I watched was some drivel on, I don't even know, Tubi or Crackle, I don't know. It's called Cruel Shark. Have you guys heard of this movie? Or sorry, it might have been Cruel Jaws. I can't remember. This movie. This is a movie.
Fucking mean, dog.
This is a movie that, honest to God, we should have watched. I should have watched on the show with you. I didn't know how absurd it was going to be. So I'm not even going to tell you about the movie. I'm going to tell you about the production of the movie.
Okay.
It's got an Italian director, but it's all American actors, and the director didn't speak English.
Wait, is this
the guy that directed Troll 2?
I don't know.
I think this is from like the 70s, right, or 60s?
No, it's from like the mid 90s.
Oh, okay.
Literally, all the shark scenes in this movie are either stock footage of sharks, or they are legitimately lifted from the Jaws movies.
Hell yeah.
Like, they shoehorn in like a helicopter shark attack so that they can use the footage from Jaws 2 when the Marine helicopter lands and the shark attacks it. It is fucking insane. And the acting is on par with like whatever that shark movie Gogs made us watch a few weeks ago.
Land Shark.
But holy, like one of the lead actors looked like non-union Mexican equivalent Hulk Hogan. He was like probably like 5'8", same like thinning hair on top, long blonde hair, and the handlebar mustache, bright blonde. Man, this movie is fucking terrible. But it was really, really funny how terrible it was. The effects are laughable. We legitimately could have made a better movie. Like lifting all the Jaws scenes, cutting them out of Jaws and putting them in our movie. Like, there's no way we couldn't have done better than this. There's a windsurfing fight race
Against the shark or against other windsurfers?
Against other windsurfers, and then the shark interrupts
like
the
road
race
rash, but on the
and attacks the windsurfers.
Water rash.
Or it's like what's that Red Dawn, Red Sword Skull thing where they all had like wind cars?
I was thinking Cobra Triangle, the Nintendo game.
Yeah.
What was that? Steel Dawn?
Steel Dawn.
Steel
That
Dawn.
awful Patrick Swayze movie we watched.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Well, according to IMDb, the guy that directed Cruel Jaws also directed a movie called Terminator 2.
Yes, I did see that. And it looks.
Is it TOO?
No.
No, it's just like the cover. It looks like a shitty version of the cover from the original Terminator, but it just says Terminator 2.
Oh my god, yeah.
So the wiki for Cruel Jaws says it was marketed briefly as Jaws 5: Cruel Jaws, even though it has no association with the rest of the Jaws movies.
That's awesome.
Well,
So this guy's just taking swings.
Well, it's Italian, so they don't have they have a very fun concept of internet or intellectual property.
Yeah.
And age of consent. So now, Terminator
Well,
2
it doesn't count if it's your daughter.
right. Terminator 2 by Roberto Fellini or whatever this guy's name is, Bruno Mattei.
His name is
came
Fellini?
out. No. Terminator 2. His Terminator 2 came out 2 years prior to James Cameron's Terminator 2.
Oh, shit.
So James Cameron ripped him off.
Oh,
James Cameron ripped
So he
him
ripped
off.
that
Okay, from
guy
now
off.
on,
He
that
ripped
one's
off
Terminator 2.5.
Harlan Ellison. Like, Cameron is just ripping everybody off.
Well, to be fair, this is Terminator number 2, and then Terminator 2 Cameron is Terminator II. So I guess maybe that's how they're getting away with it.
Anything else, Alec?
I watched the first episode of Squid Game.
I love it.
And it intrigued me. It intrigued me enough to keep watching it. I'm going to keep watching it. We watched it tonight, and we both were into it.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Stick around after episode 2. Episode 2 is the worst episode of the whole season. But, like, it's kind of slow. But, like, the rest of it, I finished the whole thing. I loved it. And it's one of those things where everyone's talking about it. It's, like, all the memes on Facebook. It lived up to the hype for me. I thought it was great. Like, I love the Battle Royale style storyline, like, every time.
Yeah, you love
Alec,
you love the Hunger Games.
Well,
He does love the Hunger Games. Did you turn to Stacey every 5 minutes and go, is that true?
No.
I saw something today where it was funny because I did the exact same thing where, in the show they keep talking about all the money that they're going to win. And I had to Google, like, how much is that in American dollar? Oh, that's a lot of money. Like, how much is 45 billion won? I have no idea. So
how much is your silly ass money in Earth money?
Yeah.
Like the millions and millions. It's like 125 grand.
I have no idea what that means. Yeah, but Alec, I think you'll like it. I really enjoyed it.
The first episode I was into. Like, we're gonna keep watching it.
The second episode is, like I said, just stick through it because I watched the second episode. I was like, uh-oh, and then it's really good after that.
That I believe I finished Ted Lasso season 2, and that's outstanding.
Still need to watch.
I did that too. That was a good button on a weird season in spots.
Yes, it was more uneven than the first season, but it was a very good wrap up, and I'm pretty sure they're only doing one more season,
which is great because I don't want them to ruin it by doing too much.
Yep, absolutely.
Are you watching the fucking Jason Momoa show, like Far or Near or whatever the hell it's
C?
No. It had some dumb
name. I've tried watching like 2 or 3 other Apple TV shows, and none of them are any good.
I don't know. When you said that, all I could think of was the fucking State episode where they're hunting Muppets.
Yeah. Show us Far.
Classic. There's a show, the morning show Stacy likes that I only watched 1 episode, and it was not bad, but I didn't watch any more. But it's got Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston in it, and that's like, what's his name? What's Dr. Manhattan's name from the movie? What's his real name?
Billy Crudup,
yeah, he's in it, and he's really good in it.
I get him and Jim Caviezel mixed up all the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were both. One was Jesus, one was Dr. Manhattan.
Well, apparently Jim Caviezel
same power
is
set though.
Apparently
Billy Crudup was in Almost Famous, and Jim Caviezel was in that Death Row Escape movie we watched.
Yeah, Jim Caviezel apparently is like a huge asshole in real life, and like a right-wing psychopath. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That is it. TJ? I don't.
Yeah.
TJ, you're left, right?
Yeah, and so is Sean.
Well, you go first.
But I'll go. I watched 3 things. I watched a movie on Amazon called what the fuck was it called? The Torture Chamber of Dr.
Dude, stop. I just started that today. I was like, what the fuck is this about?
You can stop. It's really bad.
Oh, is it?
It's the Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism.
It's got Christopher Lee in it, right?
Yeah, he's in it for like 10 minutes. So the problem is the cover is like really trashy and it's got like this like half-naked woman. So I thought it was going to be like one of these like grindhouse like 70s movies made in Italy that was like full of violence and nudity. And you watch it and it's this just really slow fucking like Hammer style horror movie where like basically the premise is that Christopher Lee was this like he wasn't named Dr. Sadism, unfortunately.
I mean, that's kind of putting all your cards on the table.
His name is literally like Acula or something like so fucking stupid. It's like very close to
Dr. Acula.
It's like very close. Dogs, look it up. What his fucking name is. It's like Dragula, or I think it's Ragula.
It's Ragula. I almost looked like the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, but that's
his name is
movie.
fucking Ragula. And it's Christopher Lee, who, if you didn't know, played Dracula in a bunch of Hammer horror movies. So he's fucking Dracula, basically. He's drawn and quartered in like the first 2 seconds of the movie. And then like these people are brought, like they fast forward like 30 years and these people are get invitations to his castle. And then like the movie takes like forever for them to get to the castle. And then he's alive again. And he's like, oh, I need to sacrifice you and this other chick that, like your parents killed me, but you look exactly like your parents. It was dumb. It was fucking dumb. No titty, no blood.
Oh,
it was
man.
stupid. I hated it.
I got through the opening credits, and then I
How do you
stopped
not
watching
watch a movie with that title?
I was going to watch
Torture Chamber of Doctors. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
Please,
the cover,
Mr. Sadism was my father's name.
I
didn't go to sadism school for 6 years for you to call me Mister.
The fucking cover, if you click on the cover for Amazon, it's literally like this half-naked woman. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, again, I've seen tons of movies like this. Like, you know, there's tons of exploitation movies from that era.
You thought it was going to be like a Puppet Master versus demonic toys.
Yeah, I thought it'd be like Elsa, She-Devil of the SS, where it's like full of tits, full of violence.
Yeah,
like give me something like that.
Blood butts and tits too, like just something fucking rad. But no,
it's full of neither. It was very boring. I thought that like some of the like, obviously it was shot on like a soundstage. I thought some of the like sets were really cool and creepy, but like it was boring.
Well, thanks for saving me the trouble. Yeah, apparently, it's based on The Pit and the Pendulum.
I've read the same thing. I have no idea what aspect of this movie is based on The Pit and the Pendulum. The Pit and the Pendulum is about a guy that gets captured during the Spanish Inquisition and is literally in a fucking pit and a pendulum, and it's about to kill him. None of that is in this movie.
Was there a pit?
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, right. It's a very on the nose.
It's very Escape from New York. Like it tells me exactly what I need to know.
I mean, it's an Edgar Allan Poe story. Of course, I've read it. But anyway, the torture chamber of Dr. Sadism is not great. What else did I watch? I watched Lamb, A24's Lamb.
Did it have A24 vibes?
Yeah, it did.
We can't afford Lamb.
I said that to myself every time I saw that title. It's ham.
It's ham.
It's not. I can't afford lamb. It's ham.
And he has a gun. I think he's aiming it at his family.
Yeah, he's about to kill himself in the beginning of that. Also, that actor in that sketch was in a really great exploitation movie called Fight for Your Life, where it's about a white family fighting a black family, and there's trailers cut for white racists and trailers cut for black racists. It's hilarious. But anyway. Lamb is a movie that I wanted to like a lot, and I didn't like it a whole lot. Like I think like it's got a lot of themes, and it's shot well, and it's acted well, but it doesn't have a storyline. Like the plot is just fucking paper thin, and the ending is just like they introduce. I don't want to give anything away because I'm sure people are going to see this, but like they introduce something really cool. Like literally right before the movie ends, and then it just stops because you're like, oh, this is like the movie's about to pick up, and then it's over. I don't know. There's like, again, there's a lot of tension in this movie. I thought they did a really good job building tension. Like it felt like a Hereditary or like another, like a Ari Aster movie, you know, with A24 vibes. Like a Midsummer also does a good job of building tension. But my takeaway from the movie is if you build up all this tension, you need a payoff, and there's no payoff in this movie. It's a lot of just quiet scenes, a lot of scenes that just go very long, and trust me, I'm okay with boring long takes and shit like that, but you got to give me something to chew on at the end, and it didn't. I really wanted to like this movie. Like, I was very much looking forward to this movie, and apparently this movie has a lot of basis in Icelandic folk tales. Maybe if I learn about those folk tales, maybe I'll have a better understanding of the movie, appreciate it more upon second viewing. But as it stands, I didn't care for it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. So
you shouldn't have to read the source material to understand the movie.
I completely agree.
It should
I
add.
totally agree.
Like killing a sacred deer, right?
Which, what I will say though, in other movies' defenses, like 13 Assassins is the movie I love, Takashi Miike movie. There's a character in that movie that, to me, he's yawning. He didn't want to hear it, but to me, as like a Westerner, there's a character that like literally dies and then shows up at the end and he's fine. And he also has a reference to his origins that I didn't really understand. But apparently if you're Japanese, like that guy is a wood yokai, like a wood spirit. And like everyone knows that story in Japan. So like they didn't even bother to like explain it in the movie. So like there is instances where, you know, cultural relevance does play into it. I'm not saying that Lamb is this case, because
but 13 Assassins absolutely fucking bangs.
Well, it still is a good movie beyond that, but you can't show me a fucking American person that watched that movie and didn't have the same thing. Like, why the fuck is that guy alive again?
I just wrote it off as Takashi Miike not knowing how to make a film.
Because he's incompetent in making films, obviously.
Well, he makes so many, he gets confused on which one he's making at the time.
That's probably true.
Maybe that guy is alive.
He makes like 6 movies at once. So anyway, yeah. So I watched Lamb. I watched The Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism, and then I also watched one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. I watched The Many Saints of Newark. It's unbelievably bad. Like, it's written by like a 6-year-old. Like, I can't. Like, I was shocked.
And to be clear, that's the Tony Soprano origin story.
Yes, it's The Many Saints of Newark. A Soprano Story is the full title. I was shocked to find out that David Chase co-wrote this screenplay. It is so fucking
he
bad.
actually co-wrote it, or he just got a credit because the character?
No, he co-wrote it. Because he did a bunch of interviews with it. Like, this is the most, like...
I believe it was a booking, and I have to go now.
Dude, this was such an unfocused mess. Like, it's funny, right? Because it feels like it's a 2-hour pilot to a show that's never going to happen, because...
Let me guess. Bernthal's in it, but he's only in it for, like, 5 minutes.
He's in it, so you have fucking John Bernthal, who's fantastic. He plays Tony's dad. And yeah, I know, like, I guess I should preface by saying I'm a big Sopranos fan. Like, I've watched it all the way through at least 3 times. Like, I'm a big fan of Sopranos. And before you snicker, back in the 2000s when all you had was the fucking DVDs, like, you didn't have a lot to watch. You kids today don't know. But I watched The Sopranos a bunch. I'm a big fan of The Sopranos. And yeah, Tony's dad was always described as never being around. Well, they took that to its fucking... like, most, like, literal conclusion, because John Bernthal is never around in this movie. You see him and you're like, oh, cool, John Bernthal. I love John Bernthal. And every scene he's in, big surprise, he's great. And also, the funny part is, I'm going to make this brief, because I could go on for a fucking hour about how bad this fucking movie is. There's a way they could wrote him completely out of the movie, because he goes to jail pretty early. But then they fast forward to when he gets out of jail, and then he's just not in the fucking movie. The most egregious thing...
work by the hour or something? Because it seems like this happens in every movie he's in.
I think that he's too good, and they're like, fuck, he's going to outshine everybody else in this movie, so we got to write him out.
No, he has that Bruce Willis clause. He's like, you got 1 day.
The worst part about this movie is it has no central plot. Like, there's no point to this fucking movie. It's got 100 side plots,
Is it just one of those things that it just relies on your knowledge of the television show? So it's just like, oh, this is stuff from them talk. Oh.
I mean, not really, but there is it's funny because David Chase has always been a guy that's like, I don't listen to the fans, like blah 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 blah. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and this. But there's like so much stupid fan service in this fucking movie.
Oh, do we find out that Polly Walnuts got his nickname because the Imperial Guards at the gate when he was trying to leave Corellia was like, "Oh, what's your last name?" And he was like, "All I got is these walnuts."
Not quite that bad, but I'm glad you brought up Polly Walnuts because there are actors. There's a Polly Walnuts guy, and there's a young Polly Walnuts, and there's a young Silvio, and they are literally just like cosplayers. It's the most embarrassing shit you've ever seen. Like they're not acting; they're literally just doing like bad impressions of the older versions of the actors. Also, both of those guys were like schlubs. Why are they even around 30 years ago? Like you can show them maybe once, but why are they such an important part of? I'm sorry. There is like a very confusing like race subplot in this movie because they talk about the Newark race riots, and like if there's one thing David Chase should never write, it's black characters because he doesn't understand them. He has it is so tone deaf and weird, and it also ultimately when the movie's over, it doesn't fucking matter. Like the main character Harold, who's like, or one of the main characters Harold, who's the black guy, who again is dealing with the racial component of this movie. He doesn't ultimately like fucking matter at the end of the day. It's like you think about it, you're like, oh, you could have cut him out completely, and the story would have been exactly the same. It sucks because the main actor, who it really is his movie, I know they marketed it with James Gandolfini's kid, but he's barely in it too. It's the guy from Pollux Troy and also from Artists.
Oh, yeah.
That actor is really good, and he's trying his fucking heart out, but this script is so fucking bad. And the other problem is that Sopranos was great because it was a dissection of the cool mob guy. Like, Tony Soprano was a fucking loser, and like all of his crew were a bunch of dorks that didn't know what the hell they were doing, and that was where that was the heart of the story. It was like the minutia of being like a small time mafioso. It wasn't like, hey, the cool mob guy. And now like this movie is like, oh, they're all cool mob guys again, and it's like, what? Like I hated this movie. I broke my rule where it's like after 20 minutes, I turn it off. I didn't. I kept watching it, and I was right. I should have turned it off. It's fucking terrible. I gained nothing from that extra fucking, hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes left of this piece of shit. It's awful. It's going to be hard to be a worse movie that comes. Like, I don't even know if this is... I think Old is better than this. That's how bad this fucking movie is. Like, it's so fucking... The fucking direction is terrible. Like, scene transitions are literally just like, all right, let's just cut to the next scene. Like, there's no particular reason for it. Oh, we need Harold. We need Harold to fuck the main guy's girlfriend. Just cut to it. No, don't ever bring up...
Star wipe.
Yeah, dude, where's the star wipes?
Dude, it's so fucking bad. Like, there's so many times where you're, like, watching the movie and you get, like, fucking whiplash. You're like, wait, what? Like, why are we here now? Like, one last thing. I'm sorry. I might do, like, a whole show on this movie myself because I hated it this much. There is a scene... two things. The movie opens up with, they're in a graveyard, and it's fucking Christopher, doing a voiceover from beyond the grave. And then they're like, oh, that's Tony as a kid. He's the guy that killed me. And then the voiceover just stops. Like, why did you introduce it and never use it again? What the fuck was the point of that? It's so fucking bad. And then later on, when Kid Tony, like kid fucking little fat James Gandolfini's like, hey, let me see baby Christopher. Baby Christopher's like, wah, wah. And he's like, every time this kid sees me, he cries. And then some old bitch is like, kids from the babies sometimes take lessons from beyond the stars. So, like, okay, baby Christopher knew that Tony is going to kill him. Like, well, fuck you. Like, fuck this movie. David Chase, choked to death. Never write anything else. I hate you. You're fucking awful. The only redeeming factor of this movie is David Chase has, like I said, he's gone on record to say he basically hates the fact that he wasn't a movie writer. He wanted The Sopranos to be a movie. but he couldn't get it sold anywhere, so he went to HBO. And he kind of seemed to always resent the fact that he was a television writer. And I think he genuinely, he's like a Bruce Willis, right? Like Bruce Willis always wanted to be a musician. And he seems to like actively hate the fact that he's a movie star. I think that David Chase hates the fact that he's a successful television writer. And I think he made this movie to punish all of us. Like, I think he intentionally, like, just tanked this fucking movie. There's no way that the guy that wrote The Sopranos was like, yeah, all this stuff is cool. Like, it's one of the worst pieces of shit ever. Also, the guy that directed is the guy that directed Terminator Genesis and Thor: The Dark World. So, you know, they really went out there to get
Marvel movie.
They really went out there to get a quality director for this piece of shit. This movie sucks. I hate it so fucking much. Like, I'm mad I watched it. I'm mad I wasted my fucking time. Anyway, Sean.
Oh, shit. Well, how do I follow that? I watched a couple things. I'll be brief.
Yeah, sorry.
I watched 5 minutes of Prisoner of the Ghostland, and I was like, "This is too much. I got to watch this later."
Oh,
like,
I got that. It's I need to watch that. That's directed by the guy that made Tokyo Tribe.
Yeah. So I was like, this is like one of those movies I actually have to watch and not fucking like build a ship in a bottle or shit I usually do when movies are on.
It's the new Nick Cage movie for those that you don't know.
I watched 2 of those Untold, I think they're called, on Netflix. One of them was about the real-life Tony Soprano buying his son a hockey team, which was totally watchable.
What is that called?
I think it's called Untold. It's like some sports doc. They're trying to make like 30 for 30s.
Mm-hmm. Is the other one? Did you watch the other one, The Malice at the Palace?
No, I watched the Christy Martin one, the box one. I'm going to watch the Malice in the Palace one.
I saw that on Netflix. Like, we just got Netflix again today, and I saw that, and I was so fucking excited.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch
I'll
that.
watch it this week so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's worth it. Like, it's great, the interviews they got with all those guys, and like Meta World Peace is just as insane now as you would imagine he would be.
Yeah,
it's great. It's really cool. It's by no means up there with the
Last
Bulls
Dance
documentary. Yeah,
like The Last Dance has ruined sports documentaries. I think forever.
Yeah, it can't touch that. But I mean, for a freestanding thing, it's fantastic. Yeah,
it's like Hoop Dreams, The Last Dance, and like everything else. The one I watched about Christy Martin, the first like really popular female boxer, and the story's super fucked up. But it is kind of funny that when she achieves her like a lesbian final form and comes out of the closet, she looks exactly like Frances McDormand in Burn After Reading. Like the only other thing I watched was Paul Schrader's The Card Counter, which is a movie I was really looking forward to.
There sounds like a butt coming in.
No,
there.
It's the movie's great. It's very like, it feels like he's making a forgiveness trilogy, like the Vengeance trilogy, because the movie's all about like, can we be forgiven, and like what's our culpability, and like I don't want to reference a book, but there's the Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. There's a very short chapter about an ex-Nazi doctor that's like working on this island to save people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, why does he work like that? And he's like, well, he figures by the time if he works day and night like this and saves people all day long, he'll break even somewhere around 2456 with all the people that he killed. And it's kind of like, it's a similar theme to that. Oscar Isaac's probably one of our best actors, like, period.
Yeah, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
He's fantastic.
The best thing about Oscar Isaac is, like, you can tell every woman that's in a scene with him in any movie wants to fuck him so bad. Like, you can just see it in their face. Like, it's like he's in there with Tiffany Haddish, who is actually a pretty decent dramatic actor. She's a little rough. You can tell it's not quite her element because she does so many comedies. But she's very good in the movie. Unfortunately, Art Freemus is a main character in this movie, and he is the dirt worst actor.
Tyler Sheridan.
Sheridan. It's like Oscar Isaac's an F-16, and he's tied to Ty Sheridan, who is a building. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like every time he tries to go somewhere, he is just yanked down and plummets back to Earth talking to this guy. And, like, I don't know what he's doing, but if Paul Schrader and Steven Spielberg can't get a good performance out of you, like, you should probably give up.
He was also Cyclops, wasn't he?
Yes, this is a reunion film because he was Cyclops in Apocalypse.
I thought he was okay in Mud, wasn't he?
I didn't see Mud. I haven't, but I've never watched.
Was he in Mud?
Oh yeah, he is good in Mud. But
is he like
Mud's
a little ass kid in Mud?
Yeah, he's like 12 or something, and it's real. Yeah, but that's like a really naturalistic performance, and I don't feel like any of the other stuff he's been in gives him that like, gee golly, I'm a youngster vibe.
Now he's like kind of big, and like it makes his performance more goofy. Like I don't know, man. Willem Dafoe's in it, he's great. The movie's not really about counting cards. It's kind of like, but it reminds me a lot in a weird way of Rounders, but if Rounders was a good movie.
I like Rounders.
Shots fired, Gogs.
Oh.
You know what? I could probably stand Rounders as an artifact unto itself, and I feel like it's responsible for that like surge of dipshits playing poker nonstop that I kept getting invited to, and I didn't care for that. So, but no, I'm a big fan. Like it's a 10 if Ty Sheridan is replaced by literally anybody else on Earth. It's an 8 with him.
I'll have to watch it.
I think Rounders is also responsible for me eating entire racks of Oreos at a time.
Oh, yeah, that's what was responsible for that.
It's also partially responsible for my like burgeoning homosexuality with Famke Janssen's big square jaw, but that's kind of beside the point.
Hell yeah.
That I'm looking at you, Goldeneye.
But yeah, that's all I watch.
Nice. All right, let's get into our feature presentation.
Memento.
Memento.
I feel like this is going to be pretty.
Everybody's seen this, but
except
Alec, correct?
I think Alex should walk us through it then.
Yeah.
Nope.
Alec, what happened? Oh. Okay.
Okie dokie. So Nate, what happens in Memento?
Well, do you want me to go chronologically, or do you want me to go in the way the film presents it?
Go chronologically the way the film does it.
Oh, okay. So in order of the film, yeah. So
I'm gonna. Before you even start, I'm gonna say that while I was watching this, I was reminded by my own brain that there was a version of this movie that came out on Blu-ray where you could watch it in chronological order.
Why would you ever do that?
Fucking thing I never did, but I was like, that is such a stupid ass idea. Who was like, yeah, let's do that? Like, anyway.
Yes, no, it'd be Memento for idiots. All right, continue.
Are you really going to pass this off to Nate, Gogs? That is cowardly.
No, I'll do it.
I got it. TJ said it well. He posted on Facebook that this is the film equivalent of a roguelike. You learn a little bit more the longer you go into the movie.
Yeah, see, Gogs, that's why you should follow me on Facebook. You miss gold posts like that.
The movie opens with Guy Pearce, who was supposed to be Brad Pitt, but Brad Pitt turned it down.
Is that right?
Shooting Joey Pants in the back of the head. And we're like, Brad Pitt was originally the cast. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
What's that? What were you saying, Al?
I'll share it later.
Okay.
He'd like it better if it was Brad Pitt.
It's the same sunken in like strong man jaw, but anyway.
So this is the second movie that we've done because we did The Fountain 2 where it was originally supposed to be Brad Pitt. It was because Hugh Jackman took over that role. So this is a role where Brad Pitt was supposed to be in the movie and then Guy Pearce took over. Interesting.
Yeah. Got jacked and pierced.
And I think Guy Pearce is really good in this movie.
Oh yeah, no, he's phenomenal. I mean, so Guy Pearce shoots Joey Pants in the back of the head. Then we rewind a little bit. We find out, hey, he believes that Joey Pants killed his wife, raped and murdered his wife. We rewind a little bit more. You keep rewinding. You find out Guy Pearce is this guy who has a memory problem that means that he can't make new memories since the day that his wife was raped and assaulted, and he intervened, hitting his head on the side of the sink or something during the battle.
Yeah, that's never really clear. Like, the flashbacks to that point are very vague. So you don't know, like, he says it. He's like, well, I can't make new memories since the accident, but they don't really get into, like, why. Like, and it's all because basically.
Let me pause you real quick. I got a weird reading of this movie, and I've seen it a bunch of times, that maybe he's actually lying, or like it's like a psychological. You know what I mean? You know how he keeps trying to put on Sammy, like, oh, it's a psychological thing. I just didn't quite believe him. Like when it finally gets to the reveal.
So you're
later
saying
on,
that makes sense because whatever, spoilers for a fucking 20-year-old movie, but Sammy Jenkins is him. So that would make sense if he's like saying, well, Sammy Jenkins is a faker. Well, he's saying to himself that he's faking.
But he's not even saying that. He's saying he's trying to defeat that fraud thing so he can convince himself that he actually has this problem.
That's an interesting reading.
I kind of like that. I kind of took the same thing watching this too, because it's like him trying to justify whatever.
Well, that's the thing about the ending of the movie, if we want to jump ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
It's
like,
fine. I mean, really, you can just say like the plot is basically every time we go a little further back, or
You know
It's
what's
every
funny?
scene
Like,
in reverse.
when I suggested this, I was like, "That's kind of a noir, right?" And then it opens up with that voiceover. I was like, "Oh, this is exactly what it is."
It's absolutely a noir, and you're finding out a mystery. I mean, the twist is that it's a noir. You know, most noirs are mystery based, but this is a mystery literally to the main character and what he does. So it's an interesting.
Well, the idea that the ending is that he decides to pursue the mystery that Joey Pants is the guy who he's targeting.
Purpose,
that he's
there's nothing else he can do,
and he's like, I'm going to do everything I can to convince myself, which is what, like, when and this is the second time I've seen this, because the first time I saw it was like when it came out, and then rewatching, and I found myself going, okay, great. Then why does Carrie Ann Moss have to be in the movie at all? Like, what is the point of her as a character if he was already deciding that he was going to allow himself to follow the trail? Which means that he could be faking because he knows at least enough how to lay a trail for himself.
Yeah. Well,
she doesn't have to be in the movie.
Well, no. So to that end, right? I guess so the rest of the movie is just you follow it all the way back to the beginning. And in the beginning of the whole thing is you find out that Joey Pants is like a dirty cop who's sort of been using Guy Pearce. I think he thinks he's like getting somebody. He's like, I'm going to use you, but at the same time, give you something. As long as you're going to put all this effort out into the world, I might as well use it for my own gain. So
it's
he
a
tries
good
to use it
movie
to rip off a
because
drug dealer.
Nobody's motives are entirely clear. You know what I mean? Like, there's that maybe.
Well, Joey Pants is definitely, trying to make money because his name? The drug dealer that's Carrie Ann Moss's boyfriend. He's like, oh, there's $200,000 in that car. He's using. So, like, I think, like, another reason why, we talked just a second ago about what makes this a noir, I think that none of the characters are any good either. They're all not even shades of gray. They're all fucking selfish, evil people. I mean, they're all using Guy Pearce, and then if you go by Sean's reading, Guy Pearce is willingly becoming this instrument of murder, like for whatever reason.
I think that's absolutely what the ending says, is that he's like, okay, I'm opting in. This is how I do it.
But especially because they keep making the... Go ahead, Gogs, I'm sorry.
But Carrie Ann Moss matters because she's the disruptor because even Joey Pants says it at some point. He's like, you know how many John G's there have been?
Yeah.
Like, presumably, like fucking... Guy Pearce has put at least more than one person in the ground over this.
Yes, that kind of tags to what I was going to say, is like he keeps making that point of like you can learn through repetition. So even if he isn't like totally outwardly aware, like he's conditioning himself to be a better killer. Like he's getting better at it.
Yeah. So like, but her character basically, she's just like the disruptor. The fact that her boy got killed, and Teddy is like, she sees Teddy as the scam artist. And I will say, I don't think
she sees him as a scam artist. I think she just wants him dead. I don't think
that's scam artist. She just wants revenge. She just wants to get rid of Teddy. But so I think that when I remember this movie, which is the funny thing to say about this movie, I remembered Carrie Ann Moss having a much bigger role in this movie. She's barely in it. But her one scene where she basically unravels everything right in front of him, like when she steals all the pens, that's a fucking awesome scene.
And she's like, it doesn't matter what the fuck I say to you because you're just gonna forget. And then like, I think something
a hard R word there too.
Big fan of that. I always love when they drop the retard.
Well, you also have to have a femme fatale in like a classic noir story. So like, even if like plot, she isn't like super functional, she's like thematically functional,
But she's definitely Christopher Nolan's best written female character, right? Like,
well, she doesn't die.
The most
depth, lines.
And she has agency. Like, she's actually doing things to manipulate him that no one else ever does.
He's not great at female characters, but And so one thing too that I like as this movie progresses is, I feel like the segments they get shorter and shorter. Like his memory seems to get shorter and shorter and shorter. Like when it starts out, it seems to be like a full sequence. And then by the time you get to like the Carrie Ann Moss point, like when she tells him like, it doesn't matter what the fuck I say to you because you're not going to forget. He forgets in like that.
The movie
like,
gets hectic. Like the scene transitions start going like bam, bam. It's like 10-minute sections.
Yeah, it's never like entirely clear, and I think that's what helped read into the fact that he might be sort of complicit in it, because like it seems like as long as it happened during that day, he remembers at the beginning, and then like as it goes on, like you said, it gets shorter and shorter depending on what's going on in the scene.
Yeah, I mean, that Carrie Ann Moss scene, he forgets in like 5 minutes. Like, he, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's over, and then she come back in.
And like, let's, like, just dissecting that scene, like, her, like, wrath and venom when she leaves the building, his panic, then she sits in the car for 2 minutes, then she comes in and just completely sells the fuck out of it, and then you just watch his eyes glaze over of just like, hey, what's up? Like, it's like, it's a wonderfully directed and wonderfully acted scene. Like, it's like a credit to both of them.
Yeah, that part where she's like, what's the matter, lose your pen? Like, it's really good.
Or the part where they spit in his beer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It was so gross.
It was nice to see Stephen Tobolowsky pop up. Like, he's always great.
Also, Thomas Lennon is in this fucking movie.
In the screen test for The Dark Knight or whatever.
Yeah, it's so
funny.
funny.
Stephen Tobolowsky, Ned Ryerson?
No, Stephen Tobolowsky.
He's Ned Ryerson. In Groundhog Day, yeah.
Oh, right. So yeah, I don't know. We kind of blistered through the plot, but yeah. What else do you want to... Alec, what do you want to talk about? You haven't said anything.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to say.
What?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Like, Christopher Nolan is so far up his own asshole. It is ridiculous. That man. It's either he either makes gold or he has these ridiculous concepts that he just like scrambles to write a plot around because he thinks the concept is so cool.
You know what it is? Pause. I don't think you dislike Christopher Nolan. I think you dislike Jonathan Nolan.
Maybe.
Because like you like the non-Jonathan Nolan written movies, it seems like.
I like the Batmans. I like Inception.
Well, technically,
I like
Nolan
the
wrote this movie too. It was based on a
script. Yeah,
it was based on a book by his brother. Yeah, a short story.
Do not like Tenet.
There was a Tenet
movie
moment in this. There's a Tenet moment in this movie when I didn't like. There's a moment where the gun catches a bullet, and I was like, oh. I wonder if that was the start of that idea.
Also, like the very first thing you see is that picture, the Polaroid, that going in reverse. Yeah, which I thought was cool.
So I have two questions about this movie. One question is, how did everybody feel about like Guy Pearce's monologue while he's in bed with Carrie Ann Moss and she's asleep? He's like muttering about his mission, and I was trying to figure out if that was supposed to be like a dream state thing, if we were supposed to see that as this is him just trying to hold on to some sort of semblance of consciousness, or what, because it seemed really loud and on the nose.
I mean, me personally, I think that there's also that scene later where he buys a hooker to like reenact like his wife, and like I think it's just more of that. Like I think he talks early on about like how like he talks about how memory is unreliable even when you have a memory. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of this is him. I think that like I talked about earlier, like his degradation, the scenes, how they get shorter and shorter and shorter. I think his like long-term memory is also going, and he's scared of that. So I think there's a lot of things that he does. Again, like Sean said earlier, how he talks about how through repetition and through like if you have a system you can beat this, and I think that he is kind of lying to himself and trying to bring stuff back into his head. Like, that's how I took it anyway.
No, that's fair, because it's interesting. Like if you lost,
obviously his long-term memory doesn't work because of the whole reveal where it's like your wife was a diabetic. He's like, no, she wasn't. And he goes, you sure about that?
Yeah. And he doesn't know. Yeah. Well, he doesn't realize that he's fucking what's his name. I mean that's like that's the big reveal, right?
Well, no, there was a Sammy Jenkins. I mean, Joey Pants has this drop line where it's like Sammy Jenkins was a con man or fraud. Fuck him. Like, but he's himself. He just doesn't realize that the story he's telling is his own.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was interesting and I totally forgot from the first watch was him burning all of the mementos of his wife in the middle of the film. Yeah. And kind of like,
oh shit, is that where they get the name of the movie from?
No, they got it from the Mint.
But I mean, like, is that the?
He wanted
I mean, is that the
mementos.
turn where
Mementos.
you're saying, okay, now he's just choosing to be a murderer? Like, is that the point
Yeah.
where it's like, am I going to choose to be a murderer or not?
Well, I
It's
think
like,
it's right
I think
after it's right after the hooker scene, right? And he realizes he got nothing out of that.
Yeah.
Well, no,
He's
I
like-
think it's also that like he does like he has some kind of conscience and he's somewhat like at least subconsciously aware of what he's doing and he needs to start like taking things away to help him not remember so he feels better about it because like
Right.
when he has the hooker like, oh no, put it here, no, you put it there, it's like he could put, if his memory was the way he says it is, he could put the shit around the room, walk out of the door and then come back.
Well, like when he ordered the
And-
hooker, when she showed up, he shouldn't know what the transaction was going on.
That's
Right.
really well. That is the point. I mean, that's what he wants.
No. But like he shouldn't. When she shows up, he should have been
He should be like, why are you here?
right.
Oh,
Who are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing in my room?
So to that end, I think he is lying to himself, and to the whole Sammy Jenkins thing, right? Like he's like, but the fact that he's able to blend these things together, like he's blending in memories he's clearly made after this incident, right? He's blended in that the insulin thing. He's just taken piece of it as part of his justification. Like I kind of took the same thing Sean did out of watching it this time.
It's interesting. I've never thought of that, but that definitely plays. Like I can see it.
Yeah, it's the ultimate, like, I know you bring this up a lot, TJ, the ultimate unreliable narrator, you know, like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the crux of the movie is that he's an unreliable narrator, you know?
Yeah, 'cause you get, again, like, the conditioning thing, like, it starts to fit, like, okay, why is this insurance adjuster such a good, like, fist fighter? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he probably does this shit all the time. Like, he's gotten better at it.
Also, like, he's very, like, just think about that in and of itself, right? He's an insurance adjuster that's, like, willing to kill people, or at least one person, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a normal guy in theory, but, like, he's pretty handy with a gun.
He's clever enough to know how to take a door by like watching to see if someone goes to the eye hole and then
when he kicks the wrong apartment door or the hotel door, that shit's fun. But
and then when did he learn to pick a lock? Like how did he learn? Did he know that before being like?
Yeah, you learn that in insurance adjuster school.
Yeah, in Actuary Academy they teach you how to pick a lock.
Gudger College.
I heard of Pepperdine. Did you go to Pepperdine?
Can I just take 5 seconds to praise Guy Pearce's stellar American accent? Like, not even joking. Like, how good it is. Because,
I didn't know he was Australian for years.
This is the first thing I think I ever saw him in.
Yeah.
And then when I found he was Australian, it blew my
When
mind.
did LA Confidential come out? Because it was one of those two that I saw
It
first.
was right around this time. It came around, I think, 99 or 2000.
LA Confidential was 97.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because, like, the thing I was telling TJ, I think, offline, that he can actually inflect with the accent without it falling apart. You know what I mean? Like, he has different vocal range than, like, a lot of Europeans doing American accents. And they're just
Look at it. Look at you, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
For real.
But, yeah.
What master do you serve?
He had, like,
I won't.
Fucking Guy Pearce in the late 90s. He had like a triplet of movies. He had this, he had LA Confidential, and he had Ravenous, which I fucking love.
And
don't forget the Time Machine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That movie
Yes, at the Time
sucked
Machine.
That movie is so bad.
But I fucking love Ravenous. I think
Ravenous
I still do.
is the shit. Yeah, Ravenous is great. All right, well, anything else we're going to talk about before we get into Five Knuckle Shuffles? I am terrified of what is about to happen.
I don't know. Now it's a challenge. We got to figure out how to fucking crack this egg.
Yeah, like I told TJ, I'm going to straight up commit suicide if Alec doesn't like this movie.
Alec, now Sean's
Hey Nate, we have an opening on the podcast. So I don't know what you're doing on Sunday evenings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start working out if I'm gonna fill in for Sean now.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, go back to classic
Go
Sean.
eating.
Just eat 'em
Yeah,
once.
be classic Sean.
Classic Sean.
Nobody likes new Sean.
This
Classic
podcast
Sean
is my raging bull.
Yeah, but you don't want to be Sean light. Be Sean heavy.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Whatever. Alec.
3.
Oh,
Wow.
you bitch.
Oh man.
Oh, 3. I don't
Like,
know. I don't know. what to say.
Which Nolan wrote Tenet?
Christopher wrote Tenet.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Ryan
And I
Nolan.
even thought a hot brunette with a busted lip would push it over for you. Like I was like, she looks like she got beat up a little
Also,
bit. Just
Carrie
like
Ann Moss is super hot in this movie. I mean, just in
incredibly,
general.
like
but-
late '90s, 2000 hot. Like
Like from the opening scene, the whole time I was saying this should be Brad Pitt because it's literally the way he looks, his hairstyle, the way it's dyed, his outfit is literally. And I know it's not lifted from because this came out first, but it's literally Brad Pitt's character from Ocean's 11. Like everything is 100% that.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt in this role would have been fucking dynamite.
I mean, Guy Pearce.
I mean, that's not the
only in this movie.
Do you think Guy Pearce wasn't good in it?
I don't know. I find him kind of boring. Like, I don't think he did anything to like that made him stand out. Whereas, like, Brad Pitt always has, I don't know, his weird little tics he does and everything that makes it like his own and kind of exceptional. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe Guy Pearce had to spend so much energy wrangling in his accent that he couldn't really do anything else. Like, I don't know. This is like I've never seen this before. This is the first time I've seen it. I've heard about it for 20 years, so like I know going into it like pretty much what it was. Like I knew the bare bones plot of it, but no, not for me. So far, October Noir is 0 for 2.
All right, I got next, and I'm terrified of my pick. But
I'm going to tell you, if your pick, if I don't like your pick, I'm going to punish everybody with my pick in week 4.
All right, that's fair.
God.
That's fair. All right,
Somebody just take Ace Ventura, please. so we can get over this. Like, I'm depressed now.
Sean, what do you think?
Oh, it's a 9. I fucking love this movie. I was terrified of like the Kroll variation that like I was not going to like it. Like, oh, there's gonna be some like fucking 20-year-old edgelord movie. But I think this is kind of Christopher Nolan's best movie. Like, I haven't seen Tenet, but it's a lot more my style of movie than a lot of his stuff is. I mean, I love other Christopher Nolan movies, like I would, before I watch this again, I would say Inception, or not Inception, the fucking magician movie. Why can't I ever think?
Prestige
is his best movie, but I really think it's this one. And it's very original. And like, even like, it's a movie I love that like, even though you know what the twist is, it's still super compelling. And it's really propulsive. Like, it does, because of the way it's edited and cut and jumps back and forth, I think it doesn't give you a chance to get bored at all. I'd be fucking fascinated to watch the in order cut.
Yeah, I almost watched it for the show just to report on it, but I was like, no thanks. Because I have the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think Joey Pants is like very good in this. Like, this is before he just became kind of like New York wise guy Joey Pants.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Carrie-Anne Moss is fantastic. And that guy that looks like the guy that's married to Tara Patrick, I forget what his name is, the motel clerk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I do find distracting, and it's not the movie's fault, is that chick from CSI plays his wife in the flashbacks, and she's such a nobody TV actor that it kind of throws me off in a weird way. I don't know why. But I fucking love this movie, man. I'm legit disappointed. I was like, well, he's going to like this, because at least it's, like, interesting. Like, even if you don't, like, love the performances and stuff, like, I think it's, like, an interesting plot, but I guess I'm fucking dumb, Nate.
Yeah, no, it's like an 8 for me. I mean, I really enjoyed the rewatch, and again, like, I remembered the twist at the end. I knew it was coming, but it was really fun to unravel again. And I put everything together in a very different way. Like, you know, I would have watched this movie when I was, I don't know, 18 or something when it came out. Yeah. Like, my world perspective is so different, and the way that I attend to movies, well, just like, and my ability to like read cinema is different. Yeah. So, you know,
don't talk about reading on the show, please.
I think it's pronounced cinema.
But yeah, I think it's like it's beautifully performed for how small of a movie it is, because it's like 3 days is the entire time frame of the whole film. It feels like at the beginning of the movie, it feels like it could be months long that you're going to unravel. And then you're like, oh no, it's really only been a couple of days. And all of this weird shit has just been happening. And I don't know. I think it has humor in the right places. When they were spitting in his beer and that old guy at the bar laughs, and you don't get that joke until the second time they go back through it, it's rewarding. Like it's legitimate, decent like attention service, I guess, for watching the movie. And yeah, I think it is probably the best Christopher Nolan movie, just because it's, I don't know, it's simple, but it does everything. Like, you feel bad that he killed his wife. You feel bad for the wife. You feel bad for her and for the proxy Sammy Jenkins wife. And she's been in a lot lot too. She was like a 90s like TV, definitely like TV guest star and a sitcom person. Yeah. I think it's a great film. Gox.
Yeah, it's also a 9 for me. Like, I was worried that I was not going to like it again. I have not watched this movie in probably 10 years. And I was concerned that it was going to be like one of those like young men movies. So I was like, oh, like a Boondock Saints. Like, oh, fuck, yeah, I love that movie when I was like in college. But now it's like, it doesn't hold up. But thankfully, it's just like Boondock Saints. It holds up.
It's just like Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day.
I think Guy Pearce is amazing in it. Carrie Ann Moss. I can't name 3 movies she's in.
I mean,
well,
she could name
3 Matrix movies.
3 Matrix movies.
Yeah. But she's marvelous in this. She's so menacing, and like Guy Pearce, I think he's great. And like, I feel like he's an underrated actor, because every time I think of, like, a lot of times I think of movies I really like, he's great in them. Like, he's great in Ravenous. He's outstanding in fucking LA Confidential. And you hate that character, but then you like turn on it. Like, you know, it's like,
Alec, I can't remember. Did you like that movie?
LA Confidential? I absolutely
Alec.
fucking Alec.
No, I know you loved it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
That's technically a noir.
Guess what my pick is for next week? No, but like I think like watching it again this time, kind of like what Sean said, I picked up on a lot of stuff I had never really like picked up on before, or just like different ways of looking at it, kind of like to Nate's point. And I don't know, it makes it a much more. The first time you watch it, you think it's kind of based. Like, okay, it's like, all right, he doesn't have memory. He needs a quest, so he keeps going on the quest. And you're like, okay, he just wants to, but like, you don't think about it like the rationale for it, or maybe his drive. Like, you don't. He's lying to himself, but like he's obviously lying to himself, no matter how you read the movie. But like, how deep does the lie go?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because the final scene of the movie shows he's lying to himself.
Yeah,
you're right. To what degree is he actually?
Right. Is he lying to himself, knowing he'll forget it, or is he lying to himself, acting like he'll forget it?
Also, to Sean's point, and I know we keep referring to it, but like that's another interesting take, because if he's willing to do it at the end of the movie, how many times has he done it before? You know what I mean?
Like, is John G even a person at all, or is this like? I think that's really compelling. That it's like, okay, this guy's been killing dozens of John G's.
Well, that's kind of what Joey Pants says, right? He's you took the pages out of the file to give yourself a mystery.
Also,
you picked John G.
Yeah,
because you know how many John G. He even says it. You know how many John G's there are? I'm a John G.
And remember, his like files are like redacted, and he doesn't understand why. Well, it's pretty clear by the end of the movie he did that.
Yeah, well, he also says, he has a great line where it's like, you got to get out of here before people start asking questions why you're around here. But the movie has only taken place over like 2 days. So again, the implication is he's been fucking hanging around this city, just knocking off criminals or whatever the fuck for who knows how long.
Forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still love this movie. I think it's great. I don't know if it's my favorite Nolan movie, but I like it. I think I like it more than Tenet, and I think I like it more than the Inception. It's probably up there with The Prestige or Dunkirk. It's up there. TJ.
It's a 9 for me. I fucking love this movie. I'm probably the most hardcore Nolan fan out of everybody here. Like there's something about his movies. Like I don't know. I love the guy, and there's such a. We've talked about it before, but I talk about like confidence in filmmaking, and like again, like the only other movie he made before this was The Following, which is a relatively like low budget short film. That's also really good, but it's very small in scale, and it doesn't really deal with like a lot of the craziness. It does deal with time again.
They made a TV show called The Following.
The movie is just called Following.
Following, yes. Yeah. My fault. But But I think that this movie is a very ambitious, like to make a major film. This is a pretty ambitious project, and I think that he made a lot out of a little. Like, I doubt they spent a lot on this movie. You know, he got a lot of smaller actors. I mean, like, you know, Joey Pants is a character actor, but I think he does fantastic in this movie. I agree with Sean. I think this is his best performance that I've ever seen him in, and I generally like him as an actor. But, like, he really is playing a character in this movie. He's not just playing Joey Pants.
Nah, when he was Cypher.
Well, yeah, Cypher.
When I eat this steak, it is moist and delicious.
I mean, honestly,
you got anything you want to say to Switch? You better say it now.
Cypher is the most relatable character in fiction, because if you're not doing the Cypher thing, you're a fucking idiot. Like, no, I want to live in mud and rave and, like, shit. Like,
plug me in right now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's like being in Burning Man for eternity.
Yeah,
like, no hot shit. Black chicks are gonna fuck Cypher.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Also
like,
true.
Yeah.
But no, I think I mean, again, like, me and Alec don't see eye to eye on a lot of movies, but, like, I really like Guy Pearce in this movie, like, a lot. Like, I think Nate brought it up earlier. Like, there is, like, humor in this movie, which is something that Nolan kind of is absconded from most of all of his other movies. But, like, there's some funny scenes in this movie, like when the guy is shooting at his car. Well, at first he's just like he's like tailing him, and then he like pulls a gun on him. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then, like, he says some bullshit line like, "Hey, you want to buy it?" or something like that. Like,
well, that's another point in the movie with his unreliable memory, because he's forgetting shit seconds after it's happening. You know what I mean? He's forgetting shit during the action.
He's like, "Okay, I'm chasing this guy." Wait, no, he's chasing me.
Yeah, then that's funny. Yeah. Like, there's some, like, I think that he is like he has the perfect performance for this character, because it shifts so much between being serious and being violent and being confused. Like, I really, like, I loved his performance in this, and I honestly was like, why isn't he in more shit? Because, like, besides
he's in a lot of stuff,
but he's not the lead in a lot of things.
He's got 80 credits,
and he works.
He's probably still taking off that makeup.
Yeah, he's probably still. He's really good in John Hillcoat's Lawless. If you've ever seen that, he plays the villain in Lawless.
Yeah,
he's very
that's
good
a good
in that.
movie.
He's really good in The Road for the 10 minutes he's in it.
Oh, I forgot he's in The Road. You're right.
He's really good in Bloodshot.
Oh God, he was. He was the. Fuck. I forgot about.
And Iron Man 3.
That movie saved my penis.
He actually was good in Iron Man.
He was good in Iron Man 3.
Yeah. But I love this movie. Like, I think Sean said it to echo more of his statements. But, like, this is a movie I've seen 100 times, and it's still, like, interesting to watch because the plot is very propulsive. Like, I know the twist, but it's still, like, interesting because, like, it just forces you along. Like,
well, somehow they made an entire movie in media res. Like, it's just, like, the entire film.
I think that, like, a lot of times, you know, there's a lot. I like a lot of movies that have, like, this sort of premise. Like, I think you could argue that Irreversible is, like, the kind of, like, the hardcore sequel to this movie, because that whole movie is told directly in reverse.
Yeah.
Despite the name of the movie.
Yeah, well, it's a joke. But I like this movie a lot. I don't think this movie is bogged down by its premise. I think that it's actually, like, one of its strengths. I think that it's, like, very accessible. Because, like, I think a lot of times when you have, like, artsy-fartsy premise, like Irreversible, like, people are going to be like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand what they were doing. But I think it's pretty obvious with this movie. Like, I think that this is, like, like one of the happy mediums where, in most cases, you know, it'll appeal to the artsy-fartsy film loser like me, and it'll also appeal to, like, a general audience. Because, like, I know a lot of people that watched this when I was 19 years old. They're like, oh, yeah, this movie's fucking awesome. And it's like, yeah, like, it is. It's pretty good.
It's much more approachable than Tenet, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I love Tenet.
And I like Tenet.
I thought Tenet was awesome. But it's a 9 for me. If we're talking about our favorite Nolan, I don't know if this is it. My favorite Nolan's probably The Prestige. But, I mean, I really like all of them, except for, what's it called? Insomnia, which was his follow-up to this, which is... Oof. I think I talked about it last week on the show. I remember seeing this movie and, like, oh, this Christopher Nolan guy's awesome. What he's got coming up next? Oh, a movie with Al Pacino and Robin Williams, that'll be good. Oh. Yeah, anyway. That's also a noir if somebody wants to pick it. But anyway, that's fucking Memento. Who is
fucking Memento?
That's fucking Memento. Gogs has the next pick.
Break the streak.
I'm trying. All right, so I'm going.
Pause. He's going to pick Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I'm picking Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Is there a Muppets noir movie?
Yeah, the Great Muppet Caper is a Muppets noir movie.
Yeah, isn't that Charles Grodin?
Yeah.
I am picking Charles Scrotum.
Nice. I am picking classic noir film. Roman Polanski's Chinatown.
Oh, he's gonna fucking hate that movie.
No way Alex gonna like this.
He liked LA Confidential. He liked LA Confidential.
I'm calling it now. 3 or lower.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what.
Real quick, Alec. What do you know about Roman Polanski as a human being?
He's not allowed back in the United States anymore.
Yeah, but neither was Leonardo DiCaprio in fucking Inception. So let's just leave that be.
All right, Alec, you haven't seen Chinatown, have you?
No.
I can't pick Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and I'm not going to pick Sin City. So I'm going to pick Chinatown.
Well, here's what's at stake. If I don't like Chinatown, we're watching The Spirit.
Oh, no, we already reviewed it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we did.
TJ and I did
a million years ago.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
Fuck.
We're not watching that again.
I mean, I'll bet large on this one. Go ahead. If
you're gonna hate The Spirit, Alec, like
I've seen it. I know it's terrible.
He's doing it as a get back.
I'm willing to think myself.
All right, fine.
Wait, what are we like? If Alec gives Chinatown a what? Or does it need to be an 8? Does it need to be a certified good ass movie?
No, it's gotta be a 6 or better.
Higher? Okay.
You'll know if I like it or not.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Chinatown.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bet right now, as a listener of the show, I think you're going to like this movie, Alec.
okay.
You're always so optimistic. It makes me sick.
Is a really cool movie that is not gimmicky. Like, maybe you're not into the gimmick of this. Chinatown has classic noir shit going on, and a very
Chinatown is 3 hours long, if I recall. It is not a short movie.
I did not take it. No. It's an hour. It's 130 minutes. That's 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's not 3 hours long, and it feels like 6 minutes. It's gonna go so fast.
It's not like you're watching The Two Jakes. I mean, come on.
The Two Jakes.
Whatever.
Sucks.
I'm still playing my flag on Chinatown.
All right,
I love Chinatown,
fine. I love it too. It's a great movie, but I don't know. But then again, I don't know. I thought he'd like this movie. What the hell do I know?
Yeah, we'll see what general audience Air thinks about this movie.
It's very. And then, God, I hope he likes it.
I want Alec to be like the one person they test screen movies to, just to see what kind of fucking cinematic apocalypse would happen after that.
God, I don't want to watch The fucking Spirit. I hope
a lot of movies would not be.
Is there any way we can like sweeten the movie? Can I like edit his version and put like tits in it or something?
That movie is dying for tit.
Wait, The Spirit?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I was talking about The Spirit. Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking about Chinatown.
We just Photoshop the Dikembe Mutombo into the movie.
I'll upload the Chinatown to the Plex, but it'll be like doctored by me. Like I'll put in like a movie he likes in the middle of it.
Maybe Faye Dunaway can be driving in the DeLorean at the end of the movie. Instead of a ragtop converter.
You want a realistic, down-to-earth movie filled with wizards and robots?
Yeah.
If there's an iron giant in Chinatown,
I got the perfect idea. I will upload it to Plex, but I'll rename. It'll be Ready Player One, but I'll rename the file Chinatown and put the Chinatown poster on it. So I'll watch. Be like, oh,
what are you, fucking LimeWire?
Hey man, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but Chinatown rocked.
Who knew that all of Ohio was programmed into one big VR simulator?
You'll never get any water.
Shut up and be cool.
Never be cool about it.
Oh God! All right. Okay.
But then I'll watch. Oh yeah. No, because fuck it, Chinatown. I'm gonna.
All right.
This is the noiriest of noirs.
It's very noiry. Nate, thanks for stopping by. You got anything to plug?
Go to readspaceboy.com and buy books there to give to people you don't like, because reading's for losers.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and check out Nate's show. I am a fairly regular listener now after listening to Sean's X-Men episode, however long ago that was.
Yeah,
and it's pretty dynamite.
It's a great show.
Thanks.
It's a
Thanks,
quality
yeah.
show.
I try
When you have
And
Woody
it's-
Page back on.
I feel good listening to it because his guests ramble just like we ramble, and I know we're not the only podcast that rambles about nothing for
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would like to
long
also
periods of time.
I would like to also express my fondness for that particular podcast.
Boo!
Nobody has ever listened to a podcast in his life.
Only listen to shows I'm on. Actually, I haven't even listened to those, so but I'm sure. No, Big Idea is great. I do enjoy that show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'll always be listening to this show. So
anytime you can when we eventually have to watch the fucking Spirit, you're more than welcome to come back.
Yeah,
It is a stone cold lock. We're watching the Spirit.
God bless.
Stone cold lock of the century of the week.
Oh man, the fucking Spirit. God damn it. I might just watch it now to get it over with.
When he comes back with an 8, you've done nothing. You just punished yourself for no reason.
Oh yeah, the
I don't know.
cinematic adventures of Gabriel Mocked.
Oh man. All right, everybody, eat your own ass. Don't read any books, and I don't know. Pray for us. Pray that Alec likes this movie.
I'm not a religious $6.
I'm not a religious man, but pray for us, please.
If he likes this movie, I'm gonna legit throw my phone down like Ed Harris in Apollo 13 when they finally get the dudes back. Like it is going to be the most unlikely thing.
Guys, the only reason you picked this because you have the Blu-ray like in your hand. You're like, oh, I got.
No, I bought it. I've been wanting to watch Chinatown. That's my pick this entire season. I thought it was going to be good.
All right, cool.
And I think it's gonna. I think it lines up. I think it's gonna work.
We'll see.
It's so crazy. It just might work.
All right, everybody. See you later.
Later, bitch. Bye.
Later, bitch.
Later, dude.